Oh, you have.
You guys are live.
Can't be worse.
I know. I'm like, it's like the weirdest way to intro to start things out. All right, guys, we gotta be careful with the show starting right now.
All right,
Oh, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Losers Lounge. Oh man, the Nuggets fall. The short-handed Nuggets, without Nikola Jokic, fall 105-100 in what was a defensive battle that featured many storylines, some of which are very positive and entertaining. Actually, there was some really good stuff in this game.
I can't wait to find out what they are.
But others,
oh boy,
very frustrating.
I'm familiar with those. Yes,
we're gonna have to get to those as well. Fortunately, I got the fellas in the house over here. Brennan Vogt.
We just met another couple from down under, and
From Perth.
And listen, I don't want to put any pressure on any of our different fan bases around the world. The Australians, good hang.
Yeah,
They're
good hang.
hangs.
Good hang. We also had a fella from Switzerland in the house tonight.
That's right, which is
big time OG.
You are one of one as far as the sample size goes.
100%.
Yeah.
Over here, I got D-Line Co.
guys, that game didn't matter.
We could say that after pretty much every game, which is the sad
Say it
part.
with your chest.
This one
D-Line.
mattered.
I did. I'll say it with my goddamn chest. That game did not matter.
Yeah, I got you over here. Harrison Wind.
Bad night for the Nuggets. Decent night for my agenda. So
Wow.
I'll take it.
Well, now
Cracks
I'm
the
curious.
knuckles.
I actually
Yeah.
not exactly sure what you mean by that.
Christian Brown.
I kept the... Oh, I got you. Yeah, you're right. I got the fast breakdown. Really
Please.
short tonight, you guys. I tried to
Please.
keep it a little tight. Let's get into it. First 10 minutes of the game. Phenomenal defensive exhibition by the Nuggets, man. No Jokic in this game. Aaron Gordon at center. Played a little zone. They were swarming. That was the first 10 minutes of this game were some of the best defense I've watched from any team all year. 23-12, they opened up the game. It was really awesome. Then you got Zeke and Holiday minutes in my next note, 28-19 Nuggets. Second quarter, Murray took a hard screen. There were two big turning points in this game in the first half, I thought, because Denver had this momentum where they were going to bully the younger team. Murray takes a really hard screen from Jalen Williams. Legal screen.
Legal.
But he clearly was hobbled after that. And then Peyton Watson picked up his third foul with 5 minutes to go. Peyton Watson should have played about 10 more minutes tonight in this game, but foul trouble kept him out of it. And both of those things I thought just stopped Denver's momentum. And at halftime, 51-47. Third quarter zone was working. Christian Brown had himself a nice quarter. He hit a three. He made some nice defensive possessions. He shaved his beard. It looked like things were off to a really, really good third quarter for him. Nuggets were up by 7 when the bench came in, and you guys won't believe this. Blew it immediately.
What?
73-72 Thunder by the end of the quarter. They hit a three at the very last possession of theirs, and it was just kind of a backbreaker. But don't worry, 20-2 extended run between the end of the third, start of the fourth quarter, and it felt like the game was over. Nuggets played so well, and a 20-2 run, bridging the third and fourth. Oh, that was killer. But don't worry, Nuggets had a chance to cut it to 6 on a 3-on-1 fast break. Do you guys remember this play?
Yep.
Tell me how
I
it ends.
had to leave the bar
3-on-1.
actually after this play.
KCP
True story.
opted for a pull-up three that, of course, went long, as every pull-up three does in transition.
But they had a 2-on-1 rebound chance.
Yep, went right to the Thunder.
Such a bummer, man. That was a tough one. Nonetheless, the Nuggets still rally back even later in the game. They cut it to 3 with 2 minutes to go. So, all right, it's go time. KCP fast break, kicked it out of bounds.
Yep,
Aaron Gordon had a monster dunk.
he did. That
You
was
guys remember that?
yes.
Oh,
I do
it was
remember
incredible.
that.
Then they got to stop.
Tomahawk.
Murray hit 2 free throws, and you wouldn't believe it, but it's a 1-point game with a minute to go. And not only that, the Nuggets dig deep and get a stop. But the ball drops right in front of Michael Porter, who looks at it and goes like this. And unfortunately, they get the rebound.
Michael
Kick it out to Chet
Watcher
Holmgren.
Jr.
Chet Holmgren hits a 3. They were down 1. All you could not do is give up a 3. They got the stop. They didn't get the rebound. It goes to Chet. He hits a 3, and now you're down 4 points. Call a timeout. Rage timeout. Draw up a play. How does the play go? 5-second violation.
Yeah, they don't get it doesn't go. There is no play.
And you want to know something? They ran a play for Michael Porter in that one, and they could not get even into their set because he wasn't even coming off the action by the time the 5 seconds happened. Just horrible execution from the Nuggets in that play. Really frustrating way to go down. All right. That's the fast breakdown. Harrison, what's your big takeaway?
First of all, shouts to Aaron Gordon. What a inspiring effort he gave in
Honestly,
place of Nikola Jokic tonight, man.
Incredible effort from Mr. Nugget.
Incredible. I mean, this was like a Mr. Nugget type of performance. What do you do when you're Mr. Nugget? You step up when your team needs you. He did that tonight. But, I mean, my big takeaway is, like, we talked about in the pregame show, man, Jamal Murray's got to be better in games like this. No Nikola Jokic tonight. Nuggets only score 100 points. Thank God for their defense. Their defense was great tonight. But Jamal Murray scores 16 points on 6 of 14 shooting. It's Jamal Murray, man. Like, you're an incredible player. You're going toe-to-toe with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who went for 34. Like, this is a night for you to take over and for you to win a game for your team. And he just couldn't. And he's had trouble against the Thunder all season. They're a tough matchup for him. He hasn't scored 20 points against the Thunder in 4 meetings this season. But
He hasn't scored 20?
no, his high against the Thunder this year is 19.
In the year where everybody's scoring 60? That's crazy, man.
Yeah. But it's like, if you want to be an all-star, these are the type of games where you got to step up. And he just didn't have enough offensively tonight. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why the Nuggets lost. Michael Porter didn't hit anything. They got some bad games from other guys. But I think it all would boil down to, like, if Jamal Murray plays great tonight, Denver wins. And as that guy, as that second star, I feel like he's just got to be a little bit better here.
It's a very good first takeaway, albeit a downer.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
They lost.
They did lose.
This is a downer game. I mean, the Nuggets played well enough to win. They, by all rights, should have had a fighting chance. At the end of the game, they really did get the plays required. They just couldn't get that final goddamn rebound. They couldn't convert on 2 fast breaks, both by KCP. My big takeaway is that, and I put it on Twitter, and I believe this: the Nuggets need Nikola Jokic.
Hot take alert.
It's just, it is unfortunate you get an opportunity for both Murray and Michael Porter Jr. to really step up and shine in the absence of Nikola Jokic, to show that they are not just Jokic merchants, to show that they are just tent poles in this league and can go toe-to-toe with any other set of stars on other squads. And both of them really just came up very mid. And it is frustrating because, as you so astutely put, I mean, Mr. Nugget really played inspired. Aaron Gordon had a very powerful showing and was doing absolutely everything needed. This was a game of like risers and fallers. You kind of see who's in the foxhole. There are guys like that really rose to the occasion, and there were guys that were like kind of wilted a little bit. But all that being said, like, the Nuggets still truly, like, on the road against a team that is a divisional opponent and now has shown themselves to be in, at least, if not the same tier, at least like a very small tier below, or I don't know, maybe above. They can go toe-to-toe without the best player in the world. So that means quite a bit. And actually, a game like this makes me feel really comfortable about the Jokic, or the Nuggets' chances should they meet up with OKC down the road. But it just didn't go our way tonight.
They were without my guy Jalen Williams either, J-Dub. So I mean, Yoke's obviously more important than J-Dub is, but J-Dub is, in my opinion, tied for second most important player for them. So they were also missing a key piece that needs to be mentioned. Big takeaway?
I think you guys have hit it, so I'll just try to do like a couple quick ones. I think Michael Porter Jr. I've talked about this before. He even hit some shots in the fourth, and then he had that steal. Like, the open shot making is annoying, but it's actually the little things that, just in the being a little late to move on that 5-second violation. What was the other one now? I'm already blanking.
You forgot your own big takeaway.
Couldn't get the rebound.
He couldn't get the rebound, right. So there are just these little things.
Oh, that one was...
Just these little focus things in these tough moments that sometimes don't go, that too often, I think, it's not the tightest for him when it could be. But my big takeaway was I wish Peyton Watson was closing this game. And Reggie Jackson closed this game. And Reggie had a decent night off the bench scoring, but I'm just not sure why he closed.
Yeah. I mean, some of this is Malone's way, because I'm with you. Like, I think that was crazy too. And some of this is Peyton Watson had an important lesson, I think, to learn tonight, in that he picked up the third foul in particular, took him out of the game. And the Nuggets needed him. I think he was one of the most important players tonight, and you kind of needed it. Malone had a tight leash on him, but also the third foul does put you in a spot where it's like save him for later, ironically. available later, did not play.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So, like, I know he got himself in some foul trouble, but just in that moment, it would have been cool to see him play just for the defense down the stretch. I also don't think this is a tough one because the result is more meaningful than it is. Like, this is a tough one for the standings, and you don't have the tiebreaker with OKC anymore, and that matters.
Yep.
You know, on the other side of it, like, Denver played well without Jokic on the road against OKC. I know Murray and Porter weren't good enough. I know. But that was a good effort, you know? But this one still stings because this was one where you look at the standings and you go, you just hope you're not looking back at this one later in the year.
So I think all of these are fair takeaways. I'm going to go, you guys all went a little negative Nancy, and I understand it. So I'll try
ray
to
of
raise,
sunshine over
I'll try
here.
to be a little ray of sunshine, shine down on all of you. Because this game obviously was painful. You know, it sucks to lose one you felt like you could win. I am encouraged over the last 10 games. Now that we wrap up this narrative week, it now comes to a close. I am encouraged by Denver's playoff rotation. And tonight was another one where we saw, without Jokic, you wonder, like, the non-Jokic minutes. Well, in the regular season, those include Zeke Nnaji, Justin Holiday, sometimes DeAndre Jordan. But at nights like tonight, the starters really, for the most part, were what the bench looks like. It was the starters minus Jokic, but plus Aaron Gordon at center, plus Reggie at times, plus Peyton at times. And I thought those looks looked really good. And then if you think about, like, Thunder fans are going to hate this, the ones that tune in. I love their team. I'm a big fan of their team. I actually root for their team more so than any other team in the top half of the standings out west. I love the Thunder.
Sure.
But I don't necessarily think the Nuggets should fear the Thunder, even though they've lost 3 out of 4, because I just think they're too big. Tonight, Aaron Gordon goes for 13 rebounds. Mike goes for 8. No Jokic in there. And they got beat on the boards, by the way. There were a lot of second chance opportunities. 15 offensive boards for the Thunder.
Chet had 5.
Chet had 5 of them, and Chet was a beast tonight, right?
Yep.
But I still thought that AG, we saw what playoff AG looked like tonight because he definitely put playoff intensity to it, and he was dominant. Jokic's not there. We know playoff Jokic. Chet's really good. Playoff Jokic, going to murder him.
Yep.
You know, going to draw fouls. Jalen Williams, the big one. You know, I like him. He puts in good effort. Jokic's going to murder him. So tonight, you see what the shorter rotation. Peyton Watson just looks so freaking good in the minutes that he played tonight. Aaron Gordon looked like a beast. Yes, Murray and Porter were very, very, very unimpressive for guys trying to lead their team. But I just thought that Denver, the guys that are going to play in the playoffs, continue to look good in the minutes where they play playoff rotation minutes.
Oh, it's definitely encouraging. With AG, I mean, you're right. He was in a role that he'd be in the playoffs tonight, playing center. If you showed Aaron Gordon tape of him playing in this game compared to, like, who he was in Orlando before he got traded here, he wouldn't recognize himself. Like, he has totally transformed himself as a player into just, you know, the perfect version of what the Nuggets need. And he was a beast tonight. He played strong. He played physical. He carved out space in the paint. Like I said earlier, it was an inspiring effort. With P-Watt, I believe the Nuggets held Shea to 4 of 12 shooting in the first half. A lot of that was Peyton Watson.
Yeah.
Right.
He played a lot of minutes there.
We've got a couple of those now, too.
Yeah, he was really good defensively, man.
He did. And the third piece is Christian Brown seems like he's finding himself again over these last 2 games, which is really encouraging.
Love that, man. It feels like those rebounds got him going. He saw himself make some Christian Brown plays. And tonight, his minus 12 to me is so unfair, you know?
Yeah, who would ever cite plus minus as a stat?
I would never.
Just a fake
dude,
stat right
I would
there.
never. But it's tough because he played well tonight, man. He had some great defensive possessions on SGA. He had some great... Tonight was some of the best defense I've seen him play in a while. Finished with 5 boards, 10 points, knocked down 2 threes.
Go to the other ones. 1 steal, 4 blocks.
One
like,
steal,
that's everything, man.
So I think 4 blocks for Christian.
No, for
sorry.
AG.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were on
I was talking about
you're
Christian
on
for a
so
second.
sorry. I'm off.
You're good, man. Hey, you're good, bro.
We all
Don't
make
sweat
mistakes.
it.
Yeah,
So
even a
I
ray of
wish-
sunshine can be wrong.
You know, this was a great effort without Jokic from the others, actually. And had they won that game, there'd be a lot to talk about with Christian here. And I think Wind would be cooking.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
For me, he had an up and down game. Like he had a stretch where he made like 3 atrocious mistakes offensively. Couldn't finish. AG had to clean up. Then he had a turnover. But I agree with the notion that he is starting to round back into form. Like he's at least like the realtor is like at least showing him houses in Browntown again. Like he's at least like shopping, and he looks like he is regaining some of the confidence that seemed to have completely escaped him for large portions of the season. And that's super encouraging, just to think that we could potentially get something out of what felt for a little bit like maybe was a bit of a lost cause.
You guys ready to trade him?
I mean, I
won't forget that.
I would still do it.
Well, first of all, it's not like he was a minus 14 today. Let's not go too far on how good he was. But he was very good. He was very good.
But yeah, it's just it's heartening to see, improvement or at least a rebound or coming back to what we remember fondly of Christian in his best moments.
But D-Line, why?
Why
do you think he was playing so well?
There are a lot of theories out there.
But there's one that's accurate.
I think he was playing with heart and effort. I don't know.
I don't think that's it, D-Line.
I don't think that was it. What else was it?
I don't think you were watching close enough tonight.
Were you watching closely?
Oh, boy. I thought I was, but now I feel like I wasn't.
You weren't.
Wind, what happened?
I don't know if you guys noticed this.
Oh, I noticed.
I know Adam did. The beard's gone.
He shaved the beard.
There it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, he shaved the beard.
Clean shaven Christian.
Dude, so was it like an aerodynamic issue previously?
No,
Like
no.
he had too much drag?
No.
There's a lot of theories about what it was about the beard. He's a just blue collar, hard nosed guy. Maybe you're trying to be a little too pretty. He sees himself as
He was exploring his
beard
appearance a little too much.
Maybe it was.
In your world, a beard makes you prettier and less hard nosed.
When you say it out loud, it doesn't sound right, but I'm telling you,
beards are outlawed in Browntown. You should know this.
You should know this, dude. Come on, man.
Everybody knows that.
A follow-up question.
Yeah.
Am I pretty?
You're so pretty good. I've always said this. In all sincerity, I think I have successfully bullied two NBA players this week. Christian Brown to shave his beard, and Joel Embiid to play. According to my mentions,
we have all successfully bullied him.
I bullied also
the entire
Jonathan
world.
Kaminga to jump on his knee. It's a really crazy week I'm having at bullying players.
That was our. I will say,
That one
Kaminga
was
diving
my
on his
bad.
knee was my bad.
Talk about mattering.
Talk about mattering. No, but in all sincerity, Christian Brown, I will say this, over the last 2 games now, the other thing he did tonight, guys, he had a lot of drive opportunities where he would drive and play it very safe. It's not in wide open lane. I'm not going to do it. I'll pull it back out. And I honestly think there's something to reducing his game. You're a hustle guy, man. You're a rebound guy. You're in the corner and you're going to get 3 shots a night. You're going to hit 1 or 2 of them from the corner. He hit 1 tonight. So I think there was a reducing his game back and then focusing on defense. And to your point, he did have some very nice defensive possessions tonight, including on SGA. So I am encouraged. Even though I don't think it was a great Christian game, I thought it was a good one. But it's a step in the right direction in what he was aiming at, in my opinion.
The part about toning back his game was very apparent tonight.
I thought so too.
And I think it's probably the right call. The first half of the regular season, that's a perfect time for him to experiment with his game. Explore it a little bit. It didn't go well. So now you gradually hone it back in and play more and more like you would in the playoffs. Because Christian Brown in the playoffs, it looks like Christian Brown tonight. Christian Brown from a couple weeks ago, where he's trying to make stuff happen. He's driving. He's trying to finish. That's, first half of the regular season, Christian Brown. So, exploring his game did not go well, but I definitely have noticed over these last couple, it seems like he's reining it back in a little bit.
Tonight, I thought he had 2 or 3 defensive possessions that are that's what we talked about last year, months on end,
right? And
haven't much. He had a couple tonight where I'm yeah, man, that's the stuff that you're that's a playoff player, that's a rotation player for defending champs. Again, man, if you look around this box score from the non-Porter Murray guys, there's a lot of good stuff here, and I think in the game there was too. So,
yeah,
fireman.
Hold
Getting
on.
in there.
We got a lot to get to, but I want to put a button here on this Christian part. Because of how great Peyton has been, Reggie, extra ball handler. Peyton being unbelievable to where nights like tonight, I almost felt like he was so important he couldn't get in foul trouble. And then if you get the version of Christian from last year, maybe even a little bit of a stepped up, but just a guy that plays defense, puts his head down and does that. Denver has 8 guys. They have 8 guys if they get there. Christian hasn't been that guy consistently, and Reggie's a little up and down. But if Reggie becomes the 8th guy, if it's like you have 2 defensive dogs off the bench and then Reggie, I'm like, that's the championship. You're winning that. So this Christian part of it really is important to me. And can he get back to what he was last year defensively as an impact guy? And this is 2 games in a row where I felt like he was moving in the right direction. So that's encouraging. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, let's talk about Jamal Murray. What a chance for him to really show just how good he can be.
Circle K Inner Circle program. It's free, and you can get cheaper gas. You can get 25 cents off a gallon at Circle K for your first 5 fill-ups. 5 fill-ups, 25 cents off a gallon. That's a big discount. You can get that for free. All you have to do is sign up for the Circle K Inner Circle program. Go to that QR code right there on the screen, or go to circlek.com/inner-circle. You give them your email and phone number. That's it. You just type your phone number in at the pump every time. It's super easy. Boom, 25 cents off a gallon, your first 5 fill-ups. Yeah. You get other stuff as well for being in the Inner Circle program. First 5 Polar Pops are free. Right now, you can also get a free any size Polar Pop from Colorado Circle K by texting DNVR to 31310.
Wait, how much did it cost?
Free 99.
What?
Free?
Oh my goodness.
Any size, D-line. Any size.
Dude, take the kids, get a Polar Pop.
Yeah, dude.
Or take the adults.
What again?
You can't be an adult get a Polar Pop.
Should not take any kids if you'll get Polar Pop.
Just random kids, any kids.
Yeah,
just text DNVR to 31310.
I'll take any kids out there.
No.
DM me. What would you get in your Polar Pop?
Probably a Coke.
He's like, kids.
Would you go? Would you go earthquake or whatever it's called? Suicide? Suicide.
Hey,
we're moving
kids,
to the next read.
Any kids out there, DM me. I'll take you to get a suicide at the Circle K.
The kids on the street, they call me Polar Pops.
I think
This guy D-line gave me a suicide.
that sound you heard was Circle K pulling their funding. Foco is the leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, basically the stuff you want as a fan. The best officially licensed gear for all sports and fandoms. We've utilized our friends at Foco to help decorate our sets. And you can use them to decorate your man cave, woman cave, your office, or even yourself with hoodies, jackets, beachwear, even overalls. There's something for fans for almost every occasion. They always have our back for Colorado sports, Foco, and they have yours too. Get the best gear around by using the link in our description. For all non-presale items, use the promo code DNVR for 10% off.
There you go. And we are back. Segment 2. We got to talk about the big dogs now, Michael Porter and Jamal Murray. We'll start with Murray. 39 minutes tonight. That's playoff caliber minutes. Malone kind of went all in tonight. In part, if we want to be honest about this, it was really the bench minutes that really killed. The Zeke Nnaji minutes, minus 12 and 9 minutes. We'll get to that in a minute.
Boy.
But nonetheless, Murray tonight, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 of 14 shooting. Did go 2 of 3 from the three-point line. But if you did not know the history of Jamal and what he's done, bringing a championship to Denver, you didn't know any of that stuff and what he does, you would not have been like, oh, he's the best player for the Nuggets tonight. You just wouldn't have necessarily thought that. He had some moments. And I don't even want to be necessarily like too hard on him tonight, but it was one of those ones where I would just say, more than being like I thought he was bad, I was just underwhelmed. That's how I would put it. I was underwhelmed by Jamal tonight.
Yeah, underwhelmed is a good word. So against the Thunder this year, they've played 4 times. The first game, Denver won by like 30.
Okay.
Murray had 19 points, 8 assists.
What was his shooting that night?
9 of 14.
That's
good
a
game.
great game
Good
because
game.
they won by so much that that's a great game.
The last 3 games, OKC has kind of locked him up. 15 points, 5 of 13 shooting. That was in the 1-point loss in December. 9 points, 4 of 15 shooting. That was in the 20-point loss December 29th. And then tonight, 16 points on 6 of 14 shooting. I think there are multiple things at play. One is OKC has very good perimeter defenders. Very good. Lou Dort, Case and Wallace. I mean, these guys are physical, strong, gritty defenders, like the type of defenders that can give anybody trouble. But I would just think that Jamal Murray's the type of player and at a type of level where that stuff only matters so much, you know? Like the great players in the NBA, the all-star level players, they find a way to overcome great individual defenses. And that's what Jamal Murray did in the playoffs.
Right.
Like in the playoffs, Nickeil Alexander-Walker locks him up for a game or limits him from a game. Boom, Jamal figures him out. We don't hear about Nickeil Alexander-Walker again. Like he has overcome that stuff in the playoffs. In the regular season, though, great defenders can really bother him at times.
Yeah.
And a player like of Jamal Murray's caliber, I feel like he should be at the level where he can overcome that.
I think you were right. Calendar. It's in May. He's incredible.
Yeah.
I think it just shows Murray is a fantastic second to Jokic player because Jokic has the ability to spring him free, get him shots, allow him to find space. He is a great shot maker, and he doesn't have the quickness that maybe he did at various points in his career, but he does not look quick at all at this point. He's not really able to shake any defenders and create space for himself. And you know, it is like a big adjustment to play without Jokic, particularly for Jamal Murray. I mean, that is his true running mate. That his entire game is predicated off of playing off of Nikola Jokic. I think probably if it was an extended period of time, knock on wood, I never want to say that again, that he had to play without him, I think he would probably find a way to adapt his game a little bit better. But, you know, it's just Murray was sort of trying to create his own. He was driving to the lane a lot, you know, getting intimidated and blocked by Chet Holmgren. He wasn't really open to take a lot of wide open threes in the way he's able to when Jokic can spring him free. So he was out of his comfort zone, and it was like a very mid-level performance. It was very uninspiring. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was just sort of there. He wasn't great defensively. It's tough, man. You just learn to play a certain way, and when something that you rely upon so heavily is removed, it changes what you're able to do. So,
Yeah.
But you're pretty charitable then about his game tonight. It seems like you didn't feel like it was.
I mean, I thought there were, like, I hate when Jamal Murray is just like missing shots all night. He just wasn't getting he wasn't getting no separation. Like there weren't a lot of times where it was like, you're open, shoot it. You know,
Right.
It was like he just would come around and his defender was glued to him.
Dort is a really good defender.
Yeah, he just couldn't. His quickness isn't there. It just really isn't there. So you could criticize him for that, as we frequently do. Like that probably comes down to fitness and just his heavy legs. But he just couldn't spring free, and so he couldn't get shots. So
It's funny that like we're talking about the good defenders that OKC has, and they were able to really limit him. Where, you know, last week against the Celtics, he goes for 35 points against some really good defenders as well. So,
but Jokic he has Jokic. It's the thing. It's not just on him to get open. Like he just can't do that.
Yep. No, you're right.
Well, he can, just not right now,
I guess.
But he does get. I mean, that's part of what makes him
Yeah.
so dynamic in the playoffs. Do you have any Murray additions?
Just that, and I don't mean this to sound too like this is matter of fact for me. I'm not trying to drop a hammer, but the Nuggets just don't have a second All-Star.
Right.
They just don't, and you know, I'm like, that's okay. That's okay because we know they're good enough with the 5 because we know Jokic is the best player in the world. But
And their 2, 3, 4, 5 collectively are really strong.
are really good, and they fit together, and that matters more. That just is more important. Having said that, I've come to terms with the fact, like next year, I'm just gonna wait until I see it before we start talking about Jamal All-Star. Is he gonna get there?
Jamal or
Does he
whatever.
get it? Just, and that's again, none of this is, and so the Nuggets should break it up or make trades or blah, blah, blah. They just don't, they've just never had a true second All-Star. That's why they've never had an actual second All-Star. And we haven't seen Murray or particularly Porter scale up a ton without Jokic. It's not a damning thing for this team, but it's just something I've kind of come to terms with.
Do you, let's go to your boy now.
Yeah, it
Michael
wasn't great.
Porter. Because I think if there was one guy that we singled out as the worst, well, Zeke Nnaji. But if we forget Zeke Nnaji, we just pretend Zeke Nnaji. I mean, we'll get to it maybe at the very end. Forget
Do
him
we
for a
have
second.
to?
Mike tonight, man, he did have a nice little stint, there at the end where he hit a couple shots, but 15 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 6 of 17, had a couple ill-advised possessions. And then the biggest one is that last one, man. Like, he is just the single... Of all the players I've ever seen, he's probably the worst 50-50 ball getter I've ever seen in my life. And the game kind of came down to that one tonight.
I can keep it real with you. If I could handpick guys to win 50-50 balls, 3-back surgery, back brace, or foot brace guy is probably pretty
you're
low
right,
on
but
my
this
list.
one was not even one he needed to die
I'm talking
for.
in general. I'm not defending him on this play. I'm just saying, he's not going to win 50-50 balls. No
Tonight,
doubt.
though, and I don't ever want to read into it, he looks a little I thought the last handful of games he's looked a little frustrated.
Well, he's in a big shooting slump right now.
Yeah, he's in a slump. He's in a slump. And he was not... to me, the missed open shots were frustrating, but they still almost were survivable. It was that rebound, man. And I don't know, there are just little plays where I think sometimes, I don't know if it's his focus slips, but that was rough, man. That was rough. That was a rough Porter game. There's no doubt about it. And it's another example of him not scaling up without Jokic. I think he's a good fit alongside Jokic, but we can probably stop with the jokes about how many points he's going to score when the other guys aren't playing. That's just not who he's been on this team. It wasn't who he was tonight, and there were a couple of mistakes he'd like to go back and redo tonight for sure.
I mean, I don't know how much there is to say about Mike. This is the Michael Porter experience sometimes. You just get games like this. 15 points, 6 of 17 shooting. I mentioned the slump he's been in. He went 3 of 9 from 3 tonight. He went 4 of 12 from 3 against the 76ers, 1 of 5 from 3 against Indy. Didn't take a 3 in that really bad loss to the Knicks.
Yeah.
So his shot's not quite there right now. Yeah, he was bad.
Yeah.
You don't really have anything else to say other than he just was unimpressive.
It's piling on at a certain point. He didn't have a good game. It's all right. He's a great player. Both he and Murray, they just rely upon Jokic, and there's not really anything wrong with that because that's how the team is built.
Right. Luckily, he's on the team. That's one thing I like to tell myself.
If they didn't have Jokic, they would play a different style, and it's very hard to sort of vacillate between those two styles, and he just couldn't hit his shots.
Oh, and I don't think either of those guys were alone tonight. They're the two max players. We start with them without Jokic, and AG was good. This was a KCP stinker too. I mean, he shoots 3 of 10 in this game, 3 of 9 from deep. He leads the team with 3 turnovers. I feel like we could all tell you what they were. The shot.
The fast break thing is so weird with KCP.
The fast break
it's
thing,
becoming a meme.
Maybe he did get
Well, maybe
fouled
he
by
shot
Dort
the 3
there,
because he was so worried about the meme of him missing layups.
Yeah, but there was I think a lot of guys had their hand in some face palm mistakes down the stretch, and KCP was one of them too. So again, just talking about the game that just happened without Jokic, it was a good competitive effort. But there were a handful of moments from the best players that I think everyone wished went differently, including KCP.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, KCP this was probably the worst KCP game I've seen in some time. And that's a guy that we always just pencil in as just the consummate professional. You probably won't notice him in a lot of settings. He's not going to light up the score sheet, but he's going to make an impact defensively, which he did tonight. But he didn't make the kind of impact defensively to offset the mistakes he made on the other side.
Collectively, though, Denver's defense was really impressive.
It was.
Yep. And he was a part of that. Yes, Shea went off, but they did not have a good offensive night. They had a 108.2 offensive rating,
which is
that's
what I
really
mean
bad.
When I say they played well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the defensive effort there collectively from the team, and he was part of it. So I know we always look at matchups he was guarding Shea, but I just thought the defense tonight was good. And by the way, the zone they were playing required a lot of attention to detail. There was a lot of how do you hand off guys cutting through the lane? You got to step up. There was a lot of that, and I thought they executed that at a high level. So that part of this was impressive.
The zone was impressive. Denver played a very good defensive game, for the most part. I do just have to say, though, I am so over NBA players shooting pull-up threes on 3-on-1 fast breaks.
We all have our personal thing where, again, this is yours.
You're disrespecting the basketball gods.
They won't respect it.
Take the layup.
Yeah.
Just take the wide open layup. It happened with Michael Porter the other game. KCP tonight. I don't care how good of a shooter you are.
I swear to God.
Take the wide open layup every single time. Why are NBA players so bad at fast breaks?
Not only that, that has to be the lowest percentage version of a three-pointer when you're coming in with momentum. That shot is long 99% of the time.
It's so frustrating. I had to get up and leave the bar and come upstairs after that.
Did you really?
He had to drown his
He did.
sorrows
I
with
watched
some
him do it.
Circle K Peachy rings.
That didn't help. Didn't help. I just can't stand it, man. Like, we need maybe just run some 3-on-2, 2-on-1 drills at practice.
I love
Three-man weave, would you please?
Yeah, 3-man weave that.
Yeah. Jump stops. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, one sweet, one sour. Peyton Watson, Zeke Nnaji. Not going to tell you which one's which.
Oh, man.
Is that
Gotta
the
stay
segment?
tuned.
Gotta stay tuned to find out. You'll never guess.
Guys, if you want to watch the Nuggets, if you wanted to watch this Nuggets game tonight, check out Fubo TV, FuboTV.com/DNVR, 140 plus live channels, sports shows, movies, and news. You can sign up at FuboTV.com/DNVR, get 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro, 140 live channels, and you get to watch the Nuggets and Avs and a bunch of different sports and news if you watch news. U.S. Open, tennis, golf, tons of options on Fubo TV. Crystal clear picture. You can watch anywhere, TV, laptop, phone, FuboTV.com/DNVR. Also on DraftKings right now. Great time to get set up on DraftKings Sportsbook. The NBA season is in full swing. When I can't get enough of the action on the court, I spice things up betting with DraftKings Sportsbook.
We did all right tonight, yeah?
Yeah, we actually did. Well, you know what that makes me think of is that Dev is useless. Never come back, Dev. We don't need you. We got rebounds from Michael Porter Jr.
Hell yeah.
Got
threes from Christian Brown that we did not bet on.
I should have.
We got a three.
I bullied you out of
We
it.
got a three from Peyton Watson.
Kicking
We
myself.
got rebounds from Aaron Gordon. We got blocks from Chet Holmgren. We got it all, baby. It was beautiful.
Yes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook
And
app
please come
with
back,
code
Jeff, please.
DNVR. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA, get $200 instantly in bonus bets with the code DNVR. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problems with gambling. 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after assurance. See dkng.com/basketball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
College Invest is super dope because it's important to start saving for college early. Goodness, it gets more and more expensive every day, doesn't it? And you need a plan just in case your child doesn't land an athletic scholarship. College Invest makes it early with flexible savings plans. You even benefit from a Colorado tax deduction. It never hurts to plan ahead for what's most important in life, like college, and do it with College Invest. Open your account at collegeinvest.org today.
All right, back here. I'm telling you guys, in aggregate, I don't want to lose this. In aggregate, I am actually my big takeaway. I kind of like what I saw from the
No,
Nuggets
you already gave your
defensively.
big takeaway.
What's that?
You already gave your big takeaway.
I'm saying I'm going back to it just to remind people because I'm going to get negative here in a sec on Zeke Nnaji. But so I just want to season the meal here before I. No, because honestly, like tonight, it sucks when you lose, whatever. But I'm saying like Denver's playoff rotation is really strong, man. Really, really strong. And we're not going to see it very often in the regular season, but I just really believe in it. When Yoke's not on the court in the playoff rotation, it's going to be a dynamite defensive group. Your non-Jokic minutes in the playoffs are probably Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, and KCP. Like that's a hell of a defensive group right there. So I just look at the rotations and go, playoffs rotation is going to be really, really sweet. We'll get there. We got to talk about Zeke Nnaji, though. We got to talk about him. This game he played, throwaway game. Kind of have to. Maybe you could have gone to DeAndre, but I honestly am not sure. And I would maybe guess I am sure. I don't think he plays again this year.
See, I said this after he played against the Knicks.
But this one might. I mean it this
Or it
time.
might have been the
He
Wizards.
will play again because there'll be an injury. There'll be something that happens. But barring that, I don't think it'll ever be it's a Zeke night. I just think it'll be like there's no more Zeke nights. I honestly think, and some of this sucks. Like, it's confidence too. Guy, you don't play, and then you have to go out there and you get 3 minutes to make an impression. But that being said, he's had a lot of 3 minutes to make an impression.
Dude,
So reminds me of high school.
I just think that, like the swear jar.
I'm being a little
Is
liberal
with the
3
extension,
minutes.
Zeke should have to put like $1,000 in the jar every time he reverses instead of going strong through contact.
my God.
Listen, man, you're probably not getting the call, but try or dunk it. Like, guys, Zeke should not be reversing and going up and under through contact. Am I wrong?
Oh, maybe. He like misses the rim when he does.
It's just like
it's like he doesn't get blocked, which is
the
good.
most frustrating part of Zeke is that sometimes he'll do like 90% of it right. You'd be good screen, good roll, going up strong, and he reversed it. And he reversed it. And I'll wait another 3 weeks, maybe we'll get a chance. So it's just, I'm with you guys. I understood the logic of treating him as an asset. Like, the best thing to do was to play him and try, but we're past the threshold.
They honestly might try to trade him. Like,
just
I mean, I
past
know
the
they're
thres-
poison
the
pill and
threshold.
everything, but I would not be surprised if there was Cal's got to be looking at a whole list of players that you can legally trade Zeke for in this poison pill era. And there's probably not that many, but he probably looks at all models like, all right, let's just see. Like, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, you can trade him. I don't know who would want him, but you can trade him. And I think that part of the reason they signed him to that contract was to maybe trade him. But I actually think the only path to potentially reconstructing Zeke Nnaji is actually to play him in the G League.
Oh my God! Can you imagine a guy on a $40 million contract going to the G League?
I actually can.
Yes.
That's the thing. Dude.
What's so bad about that?
I mean, you have your
the
money, I
contract,
guess, but
Take a piece of humble pie, get your confidence up.
you can't do that until after the trade deadline. And I don't even know if you can do that, Wind. How do you go into the summer and you're like, hey, guys should take him. He has him upside. And they're like, well, you put him in the G
Well,
League.
this obviously isn't helping that case.
No, but
Yeah, no. It's,
what if he goes to the G League and sucks? Then you're in real trouble.
Well, then we're back where we started.
yeah. Like what? Yeah. What's the
And
difference?
I've watched some G League this year. As bad as Zeke Nnaji has looked, that can't happen.
He's putting up the Colin Gillespie. 48, 14,
Yeah,
and 12.
go to the G League. Go for like 30 points on 25 of 26 shooting.
Oh my God.
That doesn't really add up, but you know what I mean. 15 rebounds, hit a couple threes, get your
Yeah.
confidence up.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. It is exquisitely bad. I don't see a path. Like, I don't see anything from Zeke that looks like there's anything you can build upon at this point. When he was first drafted, we were all sort of in shock by it. We thought, we were like, what is this? And then we all felt stupid again because he showed us that he had great side-to-side mobility. He was able to
We
shove
don't
his
even see
speed.
that anymore, though.
That's my point. Like, the things that we saw where there was potential, we don't see that at all anymore. He was like a great perimeter defender, allowed the Nuggets to switch 1 through 5, and when he first came into the league, had what we would refer to commonly as a jump shot that looked like it came out of a machine. Like, he had a great stroke from the corner from 3, and we don't even see him ever attempting that. He just now is routinely will go into a crowd, won't get a rebound, will get a ball, will go up, get blocked, will miss the shot. I mean, there's just like nothing that gives you any semblance of confidence in what he can give you at this level. And I'm with you, Harrison. Like, send him to the G League, man. Like, get this guy some playing time. He's not getting any playing time up here, and he's not earning himself any playing time. We all have, at a certain point, announced that we're not going to see him for the rest of the season because of another disastrous 2 minutes. He needs to play, or he needs to just not ever play again.
I mean, I think that's going to be, one of those.
I think we're headed to one of those.
On the flip side, though, if we are being positive here, I still continue to love
His
what I
hair
saw.
looks good.
What's that?
I like it in the
His hair
bun.
looks better.
No,
the
we're
bun.
moving on to a different
We're moving on to
player.
another
Oh, I thought we were
Yeah,
positive.
that's-
Guys,
Zeke section
Peyton Watson, I
of the
actually
show.
thought this game, there was almost something frustrating about Peyton tonight, and it was his foul calls, and in particular the one on the fast break, which was sort of that was such a young person foul. You know it, like you're on a break. He was trying a little bit too much. He caught himself halfway through the move, and it was one of those. But it especially mattered because it was his third foul, and it especially mattered because Denver's defense with him is so incredible, man. He adds to it, especially when you talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, AG, KCP. Shai is the perfect example of a guy that's in between the two of them. He's too big for KCP. He's not quite the type of guy that AG usually will match up with. Like, that's a guy I would love to have seen 25 minutes of Peyton tonight guarding SGA. In foul trouble, I mean, I think Malone should have put him back in. I think that was a mistake. But also the fouls made it a little bit tougher. And there's so many lessons to learn when you're a young player. This isn't one that affects him any other game, but it did affect him this one, which is, like, he doesn't have to worry about fouls most of the time because he doesn't play enough minutes to have to worry about them. I want to be aggressive. But tonight was one where he actually should have probably been a little bit concerned or not, and it sucks that he got. So I think it was a good lesson for him because when he was on the court tonight, he was freaking incredible.
Well, he was a plus 13.
Yeah, I mean, Malone should have gone back to him, honestly. Malone should have gone back to him.
I mean, Reggie played.
I know. I wonder
crazy.
if a reason they didn't go back to him is because you just wanted another ball handler out there. You know, you already don't have Yoke. You have
I mean,
Murray,
there's no question that's it.
And that's probably why you would want Reggie out there. But yeah, I mean, P. Watt defensively is just so exciting. It's so exciting to watch him. It's so exciting to watch his progression and how much better he's getting, and just to think about what he can develop into this year and beyond. He is such a special defender. He has all the tools to be one of the best defenders in the NBA. He has just all the tools to be a total game changer on that end, and he already is in a lot of ways. His offense is coming along too. Did not shoot it great from the floor tonight, but the three-point shot looks great compared to where it looked earlier this season. And I love that he got the start tonight. I love that was the direction Michael Malone went. And, man, just it's just so exciting what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm he looked great.
Were you impressed with him?
I was in that.
He had blocks. The defense in that, like, he starts tonight. The defense in the first 10 minutes, they had 12 points.
Yeah. No, that's just, like, I liked seeing he and AG as a front court pairing. And I mean, just to go back to how impressive AG was playing at the center position and what a great compliment those two are to one another. It is encouraging to just see that Peyton is already being able to be foisted into a meaningful starting role and perform.
Yeah.
In a game that did matter and the Nuggets wanted. So that in and of itself is super impressive, and it just makes you excited for things to come.
Don't you think a playoff unit that features Christian Brown, again, if we think he can come back to what he was, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, that's your 3, 4, 5. I just trust that. I look at that and I go, man, that is a hell of a defensive group. You could throw the Reggie Murray combo, and that's not my favorite. You could throw it there and it would be incredible.
Yeah, no, it could be a weapon. Right?
Yeah, a weapon, exactly.
Because you're going, these guys are shutting dudes down. I think so. That's a thing I didn't really want to say in the pregame show because you're never excited that Jokic is out. But against OKC, I was very curious to see how Denver's defense would look with P. Watt and Gordon.
Right.
And the fouls are a thing that I think are symptomatic of his youth more than anything. I think that that's something a player in his position can sort of learn and iron out.
And also who they were playing against tonight.
Yep. And
the Thunder drive more than any other team.
And they draw fouls, and he's tasked to go out there and play his ass off. So those are going to happen for now. But I just think I think having two guys between AG and Peyton now that have that defensive versatility just kind of changes the dynamic of this team.
Yeah.
I'm really excited what Peyton looks like, and I think him not closing over Reggie was brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. Peyton is so fun to watch every night. He's the one guy that I just feel like I'm still discovering. So every night we watch him, I feel like it's like fun.
Yeah.
There's excitement about like, all right, what's he gonna do tonight?
Yeah.
You guys, somebody asked me, this game last year would have been a blowout. It might have been true. There were a couple moments where this game could have like bent and then you break, and I do think there's
a
something
blowout
to.
in which direction?
Well, without Jokic,
We would have been blown out.
we would have been blown out. And I actually think there's something to this. Like when Denver went down that 20-2 run, between the quarters, I kind of thought that was like, all right, this is a 15-point loss, 20-point loss.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Denver didn't break and kept going on that kind of tells me something. I actually was that. It was a tough team, and I do think that was an important thing to happen.
That was the encouraging part. That's like why, you co-opted the sunshine thing, even though I kind of said the same thing before that.
Dude, you were all rain.
In that it was impressive that the Nuggets were in it, and really it came down to a couple key moments at the end, but they showed real, true resilience.
That was my point. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
And that
was really good.
Don't fight, guys. Please.
Listen, guys, listen. I matter, okay? On this show, I matter, and my opinions matter.
Bro.
And I just wanted to let that be known. But no, like truly, like the Nuggets showed that they do. It's not just Jokic. They do have resilience as a group. They do have grit as a group. They didn't have everything that they needed, but they didn't roll over. And I thought the exact same thing when they got down like pretty big in between quarters, that it was like, all right, that was fun. We had like our quarter, we had our half, and now we're just going to take our lumps, and it's going to
lose by 20, and it's going to feel terrible.
But they D'd up, like even without Jokic, their clutch defense was still there. It's just, unfortunately that Chet shot was...
that one play. I know. I kind of almost feel like they were going to. I mean, Shea still probably had
really
one or two more miracles in him, because I just have seen him do it enough. But I do think Denver was going to get a stop and go score and make him make a couple tough shots. You know what I mean? Like they were going to put the pressure on.
I thought they were going to win. They really had the momentum. I really thought they were going to do it. That was like, and then I didn't think they were going to win. When he hit that shot, I was sure they would lose.
I know we don't usually do a ton of time on this stuff on this show. Man, Chet's good, dude. What a rim protector.
You gotta save it for your own show.
Yeah, I'll save it for the Thunder podcast I do. I seriously, I think
down under.
Well, they also do a good job. One thing they do with him is they do a good job of him switching off whoever it is that's trying to be brought out on the perimeter. So they did all night long. He would be almost playing a one-man zone where everybody else was guarding, and he would just keep switching so he could stay near the basket. Very effective at that.
Well, a reason the Nuggets, I think, were in this game tonight, the reason they were was the defense, and the defense collectively has been so much better this year than it was last year. The Nuggets have been in like the top 12 in defense for pretty much this entire season.
Yeah.
Last year, they were like 20th, for most of the regular season. So the fact that they're just bringing the defense more consistently game in, game out, it keeps them in games like this.
Yeah. Well, my last thought here is this ends the narrative week, as we call it. Like every little chapter of the season. This is the close of a chapter. It really is.
What was longer, this week or this month?
It was 3 weeks, narrative week. But this chapter of it, I do feel like it didn't go quite as planned because so many of the games were like guys were missing.
Yeah, how did we do?
But I feel it was 7-4.
But how do we grade?
We're not talking about the record here.
I would call it a B+. I would call it a B+.
Yeah, I kind of think it was an A, honestly.
They had 2 A+ in there.
The ones that mattered.
Well, 2 of the 3 that mattered.
A win against the 76ers would have made
Why are we bringing up old stuff? That doesn't matter.
Sorry.
That would have made it an A for sure.
Yeah, you're right.
A B+, I think, is fair. There was a little inconsistency in this or that, but their peaks were like the 2 highest peaks of the year happened in this stretch, and against 2 of the 3 biggest games that they needed, and that carries a lot of weight. I think that's it. Peyton Watson broke out in this stretch. You know what the upcoming stretch is, and this goes to Wheel Dooley, a.k.a. the boy's dad. He comes up with a lot of these little things. He looks ahead at the schedule. The 6x6.
The
Oh,
6
God.
by 6.
The 6x6. Do you guys know what it is?
Of course
A
not.
hamburger from In-N-Out?
That's a big burger. The 6x6 is there are 6 games going into the All-Star break now, 6 more. And there are 6 games coming out of the All-Star break before this really rough patch that the Nuggets will go on. And the reason I like that is Malone always, in years past, he has talked about teams can steal spots in the standing because people lose focus going into the All-Star break. But if you can just get your team to focus and say, it's not over, just run through the tape, and then when everything comes back, sprint out the gate. If you can do those 2 things, you can pick up 2-3 games on teams. And right now, you look at a schedule, you come home, and you play Portland twice. So, all right, you got to beat Portland. You got to beat them. They're not a great team. And you're going to be in your building. You're going to have rest. You're going to do all that. Then you go on the road for the Lakers, Kings, Bucks, and then wrap up at home against Sacramento. Those are, they're mediocre, tough games with Milwaukee being a super tough one. You just have a chance here to go 5-1, 4-2. Like, don't allow a slippage. Go into the break with momentum. Go into the break with yourself in the standings in a good spot. Get a little rest, and then you can come out. So I like this idea of now that narrative week's over, it's the run through the tape line.
This is the thing. This is
6x6.
This is actually
6x6.
where you really don't like that the Nuggets only have one representative in the All-Star game because everybody
Two.
other who
Colin Gillespie.
okay.
G League Showcase.
He's in the G League Showcase? I
Yeah, the
did not
Nuggets
see
have
this.
2 reps at All-Star Weekend as of now. Nikola Jokic, second leading vote getter in the Western
my
Conference.
gosh.
And Colin Gillespie playing in
Wow.
the G League game.
There you go.
But
Yeah, 2 reps.
but I don't like that everybody else is looking at it as pure vacation.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine these guys' life right now? Little vacation.
That's what I mean. You like Jokic is going to still be a little bit locked in because his vacation doesn't start till
Right.
after
Until the job is done.
Yeah,
What do you mean he's going to Indianapolis?
but that's what I mean. Like he's whatever. I think it's probably just easier for him to keep focus because he's not like thinking about 3-2-1 Cabo.
Yeah.
We should be scouting horse race parks in Indianapolis.
Did you guys see the Devin Booker thing about a $200,000 vacation? Have we talked about this on the show?
No, let's
There
do
was-
it,
I
though.
can't remember what interview was. Something we were talking about. He spent $200,000 on a vacation, and I was asking our own Todd Davis about this. He was like, "Yeah, that sounds right." that's a vacation.
Fuck you, Todd.
Davis, who played with the Broncos, won a Super Bowl, and I was saying,
Is the roof available? Is it still open up there for me to run off of?
to run off and
Yeah,
jump.
is that-
It was pretty funny because I was wondering, like, what is a $200,000 vacation? Sounds like not. You could spend it quick.
Right, like that's like the average.
So,
So
like-
like not even a great vacation, just like the average run-of-the-mill vacation, $200K.
That's like, yeah, like guys, they go, to the Caribbean, but then they get a private mansion house, and like that's 100,000 of it.
Oh,
for
those
one
usually
week.
run you up.
They do.
Yeah,
That's the expensive
that's
thing, 'cause
usually
you
where it
think you're
gets
getting
me.
a hotel room, but it's
125
not a
if you
hotel
want a
room,
really
it's a
nice
whole
one,
house.
right.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. So these guys, that's why when you say distraction, we're all like, you're working, man. Don't be distracted. It's because your vacation is Disney World or
Yeah.
like, Galveston, Texas.
I'd
my
be pretty
vacation-
distracted.
My vacation is $200.
$200, yeah, or maybe it's actually Estes Park, one of my favorite
Like I'm
places.
downloading the Circle K app so I get 25 cents off gas.
Man, if you want to know the truth, my vacations are Great Wolf Lodge.
That is a set.
I
That's
knew it
tough.
had
I
wolf in it
was
somewhere.
gonna say like that's
Tough. Though.
knowing
That's
what
not,
that.
it's actually the least cool
I was
wolf
gonna say
thing I
like
do.
knowing what that is. It's an indoor water park, which basically is a COVID incubator.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But then the fact that it's wolf, it's got to be a sort of a break even for you.
But there's this other
Impossible
part-
not to get sick there.
Yeah.
Impossible.
I mean, true. Like that is like that's where it's just basically you're swimming in dirty diaper tea.
But there's this other cool part about it where everything's like 8 times more expensive than it should be.
Right.
There's
I
that
love
part
that
of it too. Like, yeah, so
that's
there-
the appeal.
Shout out to Great Wolf Lodge. Kids
I hope
love
that
it.
you come
They're
back from-
about too old for Great Wolf Lodge. I might have gotten to my last Great Wolf Lodge.
I hope that you
God.
would come back
I'm
from
happy
Great
for you.
Wolf Lodge and report that you somehow spent $200,000.
I think you could buy a Great Wolf Lodge for $200,000.
I think you probably could. You guys want to do a really quick around the association?
Maybe.
we have super chats too.
Well, what are we? I think we're a little short on time here. We'll go really quickly. The Suns win over the Nets. This was a homecoming for Kevin Durant, you guys.
Play the music.
Coming home, coming home.
I'm sure all the
Kevin
diehard Brooklyn Nets fans came out for that one.
Kevin Durant went for 33
Pack the
points, 5
stands.
rebounds, 8 assists. Ben Simmons did not play. He played one game. He's out. The Orlando Magic get a win, 108-98. Magic, my other side piece team, man. I love the Magic, but they have been on a little
we
bit of
know.
a slide.
They don't matter. Neither do the fans.
There you go. Wembanyama didn't
Oh,
do anything
man.
cool.
You
Not
actually
that
might be
much. Wembanyama had 6 blocks tonight. Man, these tall, skinny guys taking over. The Timberwolves, 121-87. They smacked the
Dude,
Dallas
is there
Mavericks.
one piece of good news for the Denver Nuggets tonight? Like,
Here's
there?
one. There's one
Hold on.
horse race track in Indianapolis.
Okay.
I love
all
it.
right.
Hey,
all
I
right.
you
just
might
found
find
it. I'll send it to
That's
Yoke.
the home of horse racing. Somebody was telling me a pacer
That's Kentucky.
That is Kentucky.
No, but I think a pacer. Somebody, I don't know. So were you guys telling me this?
Indiana
pacer?
wants
I
to be
would
the
not
home
have
of
told you that.
basketball,
It's
the
the
horse
home of-
racing, the home of
car
racing. Like,
That's what
The
Indianapolis
Pelicans
is.
beat the Rockets. Remember when the Rockets were good? They lost. The Pelicans beat them 110-99.
Yeah, when they got to play the Nuggets all the
will you
time.
give me a hand signal when there's a single piece of good news for the Denver Nuggets? I'm going to.
The Sacramento Kings lost to the Miami Heat.
I
there it
don't
is.
care.
The Miami Heat win
Don't care.
115 to
That's
1.
not
You don't
moving me.
care?
That's not moving me.
Keegan
man.
Murray, 33 points, 12 of 18. They still lost. Went for
Sacramento
7-11.
Kings.
I want
They
good
don't
news.
matter.
Timothy Butler went off. How did my guy Jaime Jaquez do? 8 points, not so great. Plus 20, plus 15. Jaime Jaquez, this is the thing about him. Game high plus 15. You look at the stats. It doesn't
It's a
pop
fake
out.
stat, dude.
It's not a fake stat when
It's
it's
fake.
Jaime. The Clippers
As we
got a
saw
win over the
tonight.
Wiz, 125
Christian
to
Brown is in the
109.
Give me one good piece of news.
Bones
One.
Island had 2 points.
Okay.
When does Bones Highland get traded to Minnesota? Is it
it's in 1
before
week.
the trade deadline or this
it's,
summer?
It's at the trade deadline. It's at the trade deadline. They have to hold on to him, see if anything else happens. Nothing happens. Traded for 2 seconds or 1 second.
All right, just
Actually, no,
wanted to
Tim Conley,
confirm
2
that.
first. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Pistons 128 to 121. Do you guys like that? You guys buying the Cavs? Darius Garland came back.
No.
Donovan
No?
Mitchell, 45
What?
points. You don't buy the Cavs?
No.
No?
All right. Well,
You do?
no, but I want to.
Good try, dude.
I
Yeah, what
wouldn't
else
buy
you got? Try, what else
Buy
you
the
got?
Cavs.
Do you mean like
They
we
were
should
9-1.
purchase the Cavs? Like, are they
No.
for sale?
No, they're not for sale. The Bulls
They're
won
like the fifth
117 to
best team in the
110
East.
over the Hornets.
That's
I
good.
just did that one for Nick.
Man, the association is.
The association wasn't so good tonight. The Bucks and Blazers, though, wrapped up in a tight one. Damian Lillard goes back to his old stomping grounds. Very warm welcome because if you guys remember, he's very loyal.
The loyalist.
Well, even though
The
he
most
did, he
loyal.
did demand a trade, he did get traded, but he's very loyal.
Well, but it's not like he released a diss track or anything.
no, he dissed
Oh, he
Scoot
did?
Henderson. I'm Scoot Henderson. If I were Scoot Henderson, oh, he didn't.
It's not
play.
like he requested
Oh,
the trade
he
and
played.
only gave them one team to trade him to. He
That's
would never
true.
do that
would
because
not
he's
do
so
that.
loyal.
He is so loyal. All right, we have super chats, Alyssa.
Well, I'm really glad we went around the association there.
Is
Adam.
Doc
Thanks.
Rivers
I
on
know,
the
dude.
hot seat yet if they lose this game?
Is it? Are you guys cool if I kill myself on the air? Is that cool or not cool?
Astray. Loss sucks, but OKC is showing they're not ready for the playoffs. Now I'm just wishing Malone would complain about the refs like everyone else.
I'll be honest. I love the way the game was officiated tonight. They allowed everything, man.
Yeah.
This
This
was,
was-
this was a perfect game for Jokic.
I know. It really was. It was rough and tumble. The way like
so rough and tumble, man.
Oh, I'm so excited to read this one. I
Also
know.
say this. Is there any proof that going crazy in a post-game press conference actually does anything?
It doesn't.
No,
do
it
Or
just-
does it just appease us on social
I think
media?
I think that the fan base wants to know that you're willing to sacrifice money for them, basically.
Yeah, that is true.
Sean Croissant,
And the
I know
Raptors are
nobody
17
wants
and
to
30.
hear this, but it's time to have a conversation about trading MPJ.
Whoa.
I thought you'd never ask. Let's start talking about targets. The peaks and valleys of effort and inconsistency is tough. He's paid like a third star, but plays like a role player.
All right, here's the conversation. He can't be traded. I don't think anybody will take him. Also, they want a title with him, so we'll just chill.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah,
does.
I don't think it's a real conversation.
I do hope that he has like a stable run, though. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Me too. Joe Clem 15 closed with RJ over PY. Offensive rebound, 5-second violation.
The 5-second violation.
that
I gotta
was
go back
so
and watch the
brutal.
play. They didn't show. I gotta. As I
how
recall
do you-
watching it live, they just were so late at getting into it.
But
Then they weren't
beyond that,
open.
like, how do you not call a timeout? Like, it's so inexcusable. They had a timeout. Like, that was just a total system failure
Yeah, that's
a
bad.
5-second violation. My God.
in the biggest moment of the game. It was disgusting.
Carlos
We've
Romero,
never seen that
KC,
in Nuggets history before.
KCP fast breaks might as well be turnovers. There's a lot to that.
It was not great. KCP didn't have his
Super
best.
chats are downers today.
I
We
know.
get it though. We
Well,
get it. Vent with us.
yeah,
Vent with
yeah,
us.
This
It's-
one will.
get it
This
out,
one
get
will
it out.
cheer
This
you
is
up.
like confession.
This one will cheer you up. MPJ is starting to give me J.R. Smith vibes. Insane out of high school, all the talent, but just not taking the leap. Broken heart. I swore J.R. was the next Kobe.
That's wild. That's a wild thing. But I guess he was pretty dope though.
And
He was
J.R.
pretty
Smith
dope.
went
J.R.
on-
Smith has there's the biggest gap in Nuggets fans' minds, I think. Not to insult anybody's basketball
You're
opinion.
kind of
but
doing it here.
There's
Oh, boy.
he has the biggest gap between what he actually was compared to what people think he
No,
was.
but here's the one thing about Nico. He is right that he was coming in like you thought he could be anything because he was so
He
athletic.
came in like
His
a
shot was crazy
wrecking
and his
ball.
handle
Sure.
was great. So you were like, handle, shot, athleticism. This is a campfire.
Yeah.
And
Can't
then you're
miss
like,
thing.
oh, he's an idiot.
Yeah, he's.
But
a-
even now,
yeah.
I hear people talk about JR in the office. I'm not going to name names, and I'm like, bro, really?
I'm trying to think of who like
You
if
should
there's a
name
modern
names.
day comparison. It's not quite Jalen Green, but it's kind of Jalen
It's
Green.
totally
might
Apparently,
be
it's,
like- and, like,
apparently it's MPJ. To cut Murray a little slack, it felt like the Nuggets never set a solid screen for him. The best screen of the night led to that AG one-handed yam.
I actually will say this. Zeke Nnaji tonight, very afraid to set a screen. His screen, because he's been getting called for offensive fouls. He kept
Every
releasing
time.
on the screen like, I'm not doing that. I know I get benched if I get an illegal screen.
Yeah.
Zeke's just cursed
Ish.
with $40 million.
We went 7-3 for narrative week, so I call that a win. AG did his best Jokic impression, leading the team in assists. Time to win against Portland twice.
Win against Portland twice, man. Those are good games. I hope that we get a lot of minutes from some of the youngsters.
And honestly, a lot of real stuff to talk about from that performance, but I'm glad we're ending on this note here from Pat Kelly. If the guys play this hard when Jokic is playing, then the Nuggets are definitely running it back.
This is my point. Watching them tonight, you just are reminded that, oh, yeah, the Aaron Gordon we get most nights, that's not playoff Aaron Gordon. We've seen Murray against the Bucks and against the Celtics. You're like, oh, that's right, that's playoff. Because Jokic is so dominant in third gear, we forget that even he has a fifth and sixth gear. So that is the thing about Narrative Week is we got to see little pockets of these guys going into playoff mode for just little bits, and it was like, oh, yeah, they're way better than this when they play like that.
So let's just lose every game down the stretch, just like last year. It's going to be we have all seen what we need to see.
No lessons to be learned.
No lessons. Let's go.
I'm just looking at this. So Portland plays the Nuggets twice coming up, both in Denver, on the 2nd and the 4th. So they're going to be in Denver for like a week.
Denver nightlife, undefeated.
Portland also has the craziest schedule. They also do that in Minnesota, then Memphis.
What?
Then the I'm serious. Look at Minnesota. Look at Portland's schedule.
Dude,
It's blowing my mind right now.
I feel like the NBA is just doing
they
them a
definitely
solid.
they were definitely the team that forgot about.
Bro,
They're
you're
just-
right.
they're
It
doing
is a
them
bunch
a
of double
solid.
headers.
Have you seen this?
Did they might have forgotten about them when
I've never seen anything like this in a schedule.
There's
Sorry, but
the NBA has no loyalty.
2 games in Denver, 2 games in Minnesota, February 13th, 15th,
2 in
games
Memphis.
in Memphis, March 1st and 2nd, 2 games against the Clippers in LA the 20th and 22nd, or that's at home in Portland. That's crazy.
That is pretty wild. All right, did you hit that outro music?
We got a buzzer beater.
We did get a buzzer beater. Who did he insult this time?
I feel like we need a rebuild for our bench, fellas. Just saying.
I mean, I think P-Watt is freaking unbelievable. And then Christian Brown's... Look, Christian Brown on the upswing.
Yep.
On the upswing.
Yeah.
A bench... How many benches are actually better than 2 guys?
None.
And Reggie has a handful of games. He's like feast or famine. Like, good teams usually have a bench that's like compromised guys. And honestly, everybody always like covets some of the bench players that are like, is that guy actually that good of a player?
Dude,
Like,
when you try to rebuild the bench, you win the headlines but lose the battle on the court. It's like what the Lakers and Suns do every year.
Right.
And then their benches
like,
suck.
oh, Christian Wood. It's gonna be
And
insane.
can we trade Zeke Nnaji for DeAndre?
And usually the best benches are teams
Actually.
like OKC who have spent a lot of years drafting high
Yep.
and they haven't had to pay everyone yet. And that's how you build out a big and complete roster. But it's at the end of the day, it's about your best 7, really.
And then they got Julian Straw. They're coming back, hopefully,
That's true.
in this season.
Do you...
In this lifetime.
Did Ayton and Zeke Nnaji, were they back-to-back centers at Arizona? Was there a gap in years between
Oh,
them?
no.
Because those guys
The
came in
curse of
league,
the Arizona center.
They made like $400 million combined dollars.
Can we
It's like,
trade Zeke Nnaji for Drew Eubanks?
for Drew Eubanks?
Can we? Does Arizona want Zeke Nnaji back?
Oh, that's a rough one. All right, guys, we had fun today. They often say, it's not whether you win or lose; it's the friends you made along the way.
Who
I've
says
never
that?
said that once.
Who says that?
I just said it. Like it's us.
I've
we
made
had-
no friends. We got 1 trophy.
I
I've
feel
never
like
been
I lost
happier.
friends.
All
Yeah,
right.
we- for
well,
sure.
I thought we were friends. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks to everybody that came to the bar tonight, hung out with us. That was awesome as well. Shout out to Alyssa behind the 1s and 2s. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.